Hello, my name is Karina Vistan Takahashi. I spent 16 years living and working in the United States, and 9 years of that was spent working at Marvel Studios, where I was director of creative content. I started working at the studio right around the time of Iron Man 2, and I worked all the way until my last movie, which was Avengers Endgame in 2019. And since then, I moved back to the Philippines, where I worked as the head of originals for View, an Asian streaming platform servicing multiple countries around Asia, creating Korean content and a multitude of other Asian dramas. At my time at View, I was showrunner for 2 original series. Both shows won at the Asian Academy Creative Awards, and the second show produced was a regional show that had an international cast led by Korean actor Sang-Hon Lee, who most recently starred in the Netflix hit Exo Kitty, and Philippine actress Julia Barreto. Our show also recently won at the Cannes Media and Television Awards in France. Right now, I'm currently the country head of Burns & Sawyer Studios PH, a renowned American company in the film and television industry, known for providing high-quality production services to top-tier Hollywood films for over 70 years. With locations in Los Angeles in Canada, I will be heading its new Asian hub right here in the Philippines. And as I speak to you about all these amazing things I got to work on, I believe I am only showing you the tip of the entire story. You are only seeing the end product, the success of the story, but not the full picture. The larger portion of the triangle is the bottom base, and it is not comprised of awards, acclaim, or success from anything. It is mostly filled with a lot of hard work, challenges, fears, frustration, exhaustion, some blocked paths, and even exasperated tears. So today, I'm not here to talk to you about success and accomplishments. I want to talk to you about that bottom base of the triangle, the part that creates our entire experience, the part that actually tells a more real story. I want to talk to you about the 4 essential words that you will need in order to work your way from that bottom base all the way to the top. And these 4 words are the keys to unlocking your potential and achieving your dreams. And dreams, they don't come true just because we wish for it. Unlocking your dreams isn't easy, but these 4 words can be the compass to help guide you there. And at least that's what I've used in order to help guide my way. I was a little kid growing up in Manila, just like you, watching these larger-than-life Hollywood movies that would come my way. And never in my wildest dreams would I have ever thought that when I grow up, I would be working on the biggest movies from Hollywood. But a few decades later, it had become a reality. But it took a lot of time, patience, falls, stumbles, some tears, okay, actually a lot of tears, some moments where I questioned if I was even good enough, where I questioned if I wanted to give up. And especially as you look at your bleeding bank account where you work so much for so little, you really had to question yourselves. Achieving your dreams will feel impossible at times, but these words can help you go through it. So what are these 4 words? Let's break them down. Grit. Have you ever felt like giving up on something because it just seemed too hard? That's where most people stop. But grit is what pushes you forward when the obstacles pile up. Grit is about showing up again and again, even when you feel tired and defeated. It's that extra bit of effort you put in when you feel like giving up. It's waking up every day and working towards a goal, even when it's hard or you don't see immediate results. Grit is what pushes you to keep going forward, even if the easiest thing to do is stop. You see, talent can only take you so far. The people who succeed aren't always the smartest, fastest, or most talented. The most successful people in the world are just like you and me, except they're the ones who don't quit when things get hard. Let me tell you a story. My whole film career started when I packed my bags and went to film school in California. I wanted to go to a small art school in San Francisco. And at that time, I consulted with my dad on my plans to move to the United States. My dad said he would support me all the way, but the only thing he said that I needed to remember was, And he said this in Tagalog, panindigan mo yan. He explained to me that moving away to the US would be my first time away from home, living on my own for the first time in a different country. And I will for sure endure hard moments. And when that time comes, he wants me to remember his words. Stay the course, panindigan mo yan. Don't give up because times are hard. And my father was willing to invest in a future that may or may not have worked out because based on the statistics, not everyone makes it in Hollywood. And yet, the only thing he wanted from me was not to give up. Don't quit, no matter the course. Just keep going. And as predicted, when I was on my own in another country, feeling homesick and alone, all those times I was too sick to get out of bed, yet I needed to do chores, commute to school, walk in the freezing temperatures, even clean my own toilet as I was going through a stomach flu. The little spoiled Manila girl in me wanted to quit. And in those times, I remember thinking, well, maybe it is time to come home. And the words of my dad echoed in my head, stick with it, even if it's hard. And so I stayed. 16 years I stayed, even as times got harder. And I first learned about grit from my dad. And if I had quit along the way, well, I guess you could say I'd never have gotten the experience working with the Avengers and being part of this monumental movie experience. Grit is never giving up. Now, the second is resilience. Back from failure, resilience is bouncing back from failure. And your ability to bounce back when life knocks you down, that's resilience. It's what allows you to stand back up, dust yourself off, and keep moving forward. So here's another story. When I graduated from film school in San Francisco and moved to LA, where movies were made, I had to find a job. So I started out by sending 20 to 30 copies of my resume every day, hoping for a paid job. Silence and an empty mailbox is all I got. So then I applied to jobs that didn't pay. I applied to multiple internships at studios, and even that was so competitive. Each office would have about 10 to 15 interns working for them, and our tasks were to get coffee, lunch, grocery. In between the chores, we had to read the hundreds of scripts submitted to the company. And for 9 months, it was an ongoing cycle of apply for a job, send out resumes, go for a job interview, get rejected, clock into the job that doesn't pay, then repeat again the next day. And it was disheartening to apply for a job over and over and over again and then get rejected again and again. And I questioned if I was good enough. I questioned if I was really cut out for this. But I kept going, believing that all it takes is one yes. I can get 1,000 no's, but all I need is one yes. And in time, I did get a yes. And I got my first paid job after almost a year. And when that company that finally hired me had to shut down 2 years later because of an economic recession, I was back out of work. But I didn't let that keep me down. I was back on the horse, applying to every job posting, going to every job interview, getting rejected again and again, until finally a small comic book company called Marvel was hiring. And the rest is history. Resilience is getting up no matter how many times you've been knocked down. So let's talk about the third one, drive. Drive is the fire inside you that pushes you to achieve your goals. Drive is the energy behind your actions, your hunger to succeed. Drive is what gets you out of bed in the morning, ready to give your best effort. It's what makes you stay working late at night at your craft, even if others have called it a day. So when I was showrunner for the first series I produced here in the Philippines, there were a lot of adjustments I needed to make. I had to adapt working to a new country, working on a much smaller budget and even tighter timelines. But after shooting my whole series, I went straight to the editing bay and I took a look at my first episode. And much to my anxiety, it was terrible. It wasn't working, it was slow, it wasn't engaging at all. I worried about it and lost sleep about what to do with it. And I could have given up and just shrugged my shoulders and said, oh well, we tried. But I was driven to make a good show, so I spent more time, plenty of unrelenting hours at the edit bay, working with the editor to create a quicker, catchier, snappier version. And we didn't stop until we finally edited a version that we were happy with. And when other people watched the cut, they genuinely liked it as well. And in the end, that extra effort was worth it. We won a few awards, but for the most satisfying reward for me was meeting women in their 20s telling me that in watching my show, they felt seen. And this made me so happy. This was my goal, and this was what I was hoping to hear, and what I wanted viewers to feel after watching my show. What a relief that we accomplished it. So drive is what helped me reach my goal. Drive keeps us going, and drive is what can help you reach your dreams further. The last one is purpose. Purpose is the deep underlying reason why you do what you do. It gives you meaning to your work and fuels your drive even when the going gets tough. Having a sense of purpose gives you direction. It's like a compass that guides you through. Without purpose, it's easy to get lost or feel like you're just going through the motions. So the most common question I was asked when I moved back to the Philippines is, why did you leave Marvel and why move back to Manila? The reason is primarily family. No matter how exciting one's career can be, at the end of the day, family is family. And my husband travels all over the world and is gone for more than half the year. And a lot of the times, it's just my son and I at home. And on the days that I work 10 to 12 hours, sometimes weekends, it can be very lonely for him. And now as we've settled back in Manila, I look back without any regrets when I see him laugh endlessly with his cousins, and when Lolo and Lola's house becomes a second home for him. I believe there's just some things in life that are irreplaceable, and that's family. And that's why we moved to Asia. But little did I know that moving back to the Philippines would also give me something I never had: purpose. As I moved back and started living in Manila, I realized so much of the world had changed. Things are different now than when I moved 20 years ago. Stories can now come from anywhere, and it doesn't just come from Hollywood anymore. One of the most valuable lessons I learned working at Marvel is taking pride and embracing your identity, whoever you are and wherever you come from. With this, I learned that my opinion and my voice mattered. My story, my background, and my culture is what defines me as a person, and we should never shy away from that. After so many years living away from my own country, I realized that my own culture and story is just as important. And it is important to remember that we as a country just have as much interesting stories to tell. And this is something I try to remember as I continue to develop and cultivate Asian talent in the effort to highlight local quality talent to a global platform. And this has become my purpose. It was something I stumbled upon as I moved back to the Philippines. Purpose has given me insight as to why I want to continue to do my work. I want to highlight Asian work, Asian stories, Filipinos to a global platform because I sincerely believe our stories are worth telling. And with that, let's do a quick recap. So grit is what helps you persevere when the going gets tough. It is the determination to keep going no matter what. Resilience helps you bounce back after every setback. Drive gives you the energy to push forward. It fuels your ambition. And purpose gives meaning to it all. It gives you the reason to keep striving. And when you combine these four, you create a powerful force. You become someone who doesn't just dream, but someone who makes that dream happen. And the real secret? It's all within you. That's the truth. No one can give you grit, resilience, drive, or purpose. They are qualities you have to cultivate within yourself. But the good news is that they're already inside of you, waiting to be unlocked. So go chase your dreams, believe in your power. The journey, I guarantee you, it won't be easy. But remember, you are stronger than you think and more capable than what you realize. Keep pushing, keep growing, and keep believing in yourself. Thank you.